Yeah, before when I, I been a corporate guy for a long time, businessman. I had a corporate career, was the CEO of a public listed company for many years. But the gallery has been existing after I wouldn't say I turned my back against corporate life. In 2012, 2013, I set up the art business. But it's basically on the idea of participating and building something around the creative economy, the nexus of the creative economy, which I think is very interesting. Really, truthfully, when you collect art, your first motivation to collect something, a collectible, is actually you're a decorator. You want to decorate the walls of your student apartment, and you collect posters and things like that. That's how people actually collect art, to be honest, to be frank. And then after a while, you become a buyer of art, and then you buyer of art, objects, collectibles, and once you figure out what you actually want to do, then you can perhaps call yourself a collector. But of course, most people collect art is for investment purposes, because over time it has grown to be alternative asset for people to invest. And the returns on that asset can be astronomical or can be nothing. It can be negative, can be worth nothing. You have to make art easy. You have to make craft easy. You have to make it accessible. And today, the notion that art has got to be a very large painting, has got to be something on the wall, has got to be framed, is slowly dissipating or not as important anymore. Anything can be art, any object can be art, however small, however big, everything has got value. So it should be more accessible to a lot more people across a wider range of the population. Yeah. With the exception of maybe of Indonesia and Philippines to some extent, art, the idea of art, the idea of culture is not treated as knowledge, as ilmu, the word ilmu. So, for example, in certain society, Indonesian especially, I think so, would be the closest we know, art, the idea of appreciating art is an ilmu, is almost equivalent to studying physics or studying chemistry, studying engineering and whatnot, So the idea of this, then it forms part of life, become part of life. So if you go to Jogja or Bali, for example, and become part of religious ritual and whatnot, you will always see people actually making a little bit of decorative things every morning before they open the shop in Bali, to use that as a ritual to pray to the lords, to the spirits and whatnot, for a good day's work to open a shop. So this becomes part of life. But the idea of art and art appreciation, learning about art, learning about aesthetics, if it's treated as ilmu, as knowledge, then you can see the real value of it. Because it's one thing that artificial intelligence cannot do. Artificial intelligence cannot imagine. They lack imagination. They cannot imagine. So now is a challenge for the countries in this region to actually value the art again. The seni as an ilmu, not seni as a utilitarian thing. So it's very interesting to see the new Minister of Education in Indonesia, Nadiem Makarim. Actually, in his policy statement, he says that one of the biggest attributes of Indonesia, is a love for art. And seni is going to be the big foundation for the Indonesian people, and relatively talking almost on behalf of Southeast Asia, to comprehend the age of artificial intelligence and also the age of Industrial Revolution 4.0. So that's very interesting. So you can see somebody who's 30 years old, who made his money from technology, make his money from Gojek, suddenly found that they realize that creativity is the one thing that's so important to physical sciences, to designing of industrial products, to designing of cars, to writing software. And that can only come from people who have a very deep understanding or who treated art and creativity and aesthetics as ilmu, not just a utilitarian tool, not a secondary knowledge, it's a primary knowledge.